to share my journalism experience with all of you. I would like to know first, like, are media students? Okay, oh, quite a lot. And how many people you have certain experience in journalism, like a few years journalism, or even just occasionally have some reports or published to one? Okay, great. Yeah, so before we start, I want to briefly introduce myself. I'm Yu Chen. You can also call me Alicia. I'm from Taiwan. It's a beautiful island. I landed here 2 days ago. And this is my first time in India. So far, I feel like I really love this country. I'm a freelance journalist. I started my journey since 2016, and I mainly focus on forced migration, global displacement, and refugee issues. Before I start how I started my journey, I think it would be amazing that today we can exchange our information and opinions together, because today is called a workshop, it's not a panel. So I hope like all of you can participate in today's workshop. We can learn from each other. So before we start, I want to do a small survey. Everybody, do you have your phone, mobile phone? Perfect. Can you use your mobile phone? Now, I want you to respond like, what are the challenges of becoming an independent journalist? I know you are probably the first or second year of journalism, but what kind of challenges you think you might encounter in your future? You can enter the link. The URL is not really clear here, so I spell it. Could you enter this URL? And it's pollev.com. You have internet?
This pollev.com.
pollev.com. .com. And dash YINGYUCHEN. Is that clear? Yeah. POLL.
Make it very big.
POEV dash 英语乘5528. Do you see the survey? If you see the questions, can you raise your hand? Oh, not yet. Okay, cool, great. And when you see the survey, you can answer the questions. What are the challenges of becoming an independent journalist? Oh, revenue generation. Great. Have more? Everybody can see the survey. You can see the questions. Difficult to get your work recognized. Problems from authorities. Interesting. Great. I have more. Yes. Income uncertainty of work. Life risk because you don't have particular organization to back you up. Yeah, it's a really good point. Handling political pressure. Handling political pressure. Life threats. Have more opinions? Yeah, it's quite interesting that your worries are quite similar about like financial struggles or like political pressures, and then how to make a living or how to make a stories that it can under this kind of like political pressure. lack of support systems, publishing your work. Nice. Gathering trustworthy sources. Being a journalist, it happens. Political pressure. Finding limelight. Nice. Okay, great. Anybody want to share your opinions towards your smart journalism? Your response. Anybody? At any points you want to articulate more? No? Who write Social Pressure Risks of Life? Who write this one? Nobody wants to admit that you write this. Okay, well, it's fine. I mean, it's quite interesting to see that your response here. And I can see that it's quite, that your concerns is quite similar as my experience as well. So in the beginning, I will share my experience and what kind of challenges and I encounter, and also like how I overcome it, or I haven't overcome it yet, and we can discuss together how to do that. I've been reporting for 3 years, so I'm still very new. I would love to learn some things from you. And to be honest, I don't have journalism background. I never studied media in school, never. So you might know something more than me. But during these few years, it has been really challenging, but because I find my passions, and I find I'm passionate about this, so that's why I'm still here talking to you. Since 2016, I started my journey. I didn't really have a big dream, like I want to become a journalist, and I want to write a story and to that more people heard about the voice from the people who are living in the bottom of life. But I encountered one person who greatly influenced me, and then I really want to write his story down. He's a chef working on a refugee rescue boat at the Mediterranean Sea with the Doctor Without Borders. Maybe some of you heard about this organization. He's an ordinary people, but he shared a lot of experience and the things that he has seen on the boat. He says children died when a lot of people children who were born when a lot of people die in the sea. And a lot of things that really strikes me. And at that time I was thinking well, I really want to do something. I want to write this story down. I want to let more people hear about it. So I was thinking that how can I do it? How can I let this story to let more people hear it? So before back to school time, I keep writing ordinary people stories, and I love talking to people. I love interviewing people. So I write hundreds of stories, just like my friends or some people I found that he or she is really interesting. But I didn't think that would really lead me to become a journalist. So let's really experienced seniors that I've talked before in previous sections. This work will one day help you to get into this field. So it's amazing that some of you already have your blog or podcast, and that's a fascinating things that will help you when the opportunities come to you. So that's how I want to let this story published. But the question is where and who is my audience? The first things I think about is I read what media outlets I read every day, and what media I like. What kind of media you like and you read every day? Can you give me something? The media you read every day? No? Any in Indian media or international media?
So it's it's all on digital platforms.
Mhm.
So there are the people who had come like the Quint, the Wire, Root, Al Jazeera, yeah.
Mhm.
So I watched this channel called Amongst Borders.
Mhm.
Where she's on YouTube channel.
Great, great. And any other medias? Okay. Oh yeah.
Daily show with Trevor Noah. It's a really good format.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to share.
The Daily Show by Trevor Noah. It's on Comedy Central. It's a really great.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think the first things I think about is the one media that I read every day. Why I think this is important because when you write a story for them and when you work with them and the style and the angle that they pick up or what they want you to do, like it might have if you read it every day, you might familiar with that and you might have like certain understanding of like how they work, and the most important thing is that you feel proud of when your articles published on that media. So I content one media that I really appreciate. It's a Hong Kong-based online media. It's an independent media. They cover a lot of international issues, and the quality of their reports are very high. It's called Institute Media. So I try to approach them, and I just give an idea like, I want to write a story of the crew members who work on a refugee rescue boat at the Mediterranean Sea, blah blah blah. And then I show my passions. I was really naive, like really ambitious. And then the first reply I get from her, well, it's good that because I get a reply, because most of the times I probably get no reply. So that's a good point. If even they reply you, it means that they notice you. So it's important that no matter what's the content inside, that means you still have a chance. So the first email I got is like, yeah, that's an important issue, quite interesting, but we already covered quite a lot of issues on that refugee, so I don't think at this time we need we need this coverage. But the last sentence, she say, well, but if you have some special angle, maybe we can discuss it. Oh, great, I found a chance. So I was like, I still have the last chance, so I try to meet her in person. Well, that's another point, that meeting them in person is always better than seeing them via email or call, via call. So it's really important that if you can meet them in person, that will give you more chance to get this opportunity. So I tried to meet her in person, and she was a bit shocked, okay, because it's in Hong Kong, and I'm from Taiwan, so I actually had to fly to Hong Kong to meet her. But I think that's really important for me. I really want to write this story, so I was there with her, and I discussed the angle I want to write is it's not about refugee stories. But I want to write about the crew members, how they work on the boat, especially the chef, because he's a cook. He cooked for refugees. He worked on the boat for 2 months and cooked for them. And I through his eyes and what happened and what kind of things that he encountered. And that kind of you can see that the angle be slightly different. And so she found interesting. And that's how I get my first opportunity. But I have to be very honest that I embark on my journalism journey. I have to self-fund to some extent. I have to say I have some certain support from my family, so I can do these kind of things at the very beginning. Because that's all a lot of people say, it's quite hard to make a living and the revenue it's quite hard to generate revenues. So it's still a challenge for me. But at that time I just okay, I self-found, and I went there. I went on the boat, and I was there for 3 days. and I interview the crew members and I understand what kind of experience they have. And I finally get a publication on this media. So the things I want to say is that if you have time, be patient and respect your story. Because at this time, like this kind of story might it might possible to be published in some certain like media, like like more like shorter lengths of article. But the thing is that if you're really patient about your story, like to respect your story, be patient to find a good room for your story. I think it's really important because you don't want to regret after 10 years and when you see this publication and you feel like it's better to publish it somewhere else or you publish in the wrong place. And I did have this experience because afterwards I started my journey. I was in Malta, I was in Cambodia for 1.5 years reporting human trafficking issues and also the undocumented migrants' life. And at that time I was a bit panicked, like, I want to try to make this work. But sometimes I publish stuff like I feel this is not me, and then I don't feel like I really respect my interviewees. And I think that's the mistakes I made, and I hope that you can always keep in mind that respect the stories that you have. Step by step, and then I started my journey. It's not easy, but I was in Cambodia for 1.5 years. I didn't work as a full-time journalist at the beginning because, what I say, it's quite challenging. But what I want to say is that you have to be very creative because there's one option that you can do, like you can find an internship to work for one particular media outlet, but also like if you want to work as an independent journalist directly, you have an entrepreneur spirit. Like you are an entrepreneur and you have to be creative to find a way like how to make all this work. So at the beginning that I write blog, and I keep doing reporting, keep doing journalism, but I also sometimes work for some NGOs, and then also I help people do some translation, like something like this, and then I also receive some speech and I do some activities. So that's how I try to connect things together, but for sure not cross the line or to obey, to kind of compromise your goal. So that's some things that how you can start make things work. And one thing that some people mentioned is you don't have a support system, and that's really important because I remember once I give my interviewees name card and I say, oh, so freelance journalist, who are you? Like I was nobody, and even now it's like quite difficult for them to trust me, and it takes a bit time to let them open their mind and to talk to me. And also without support system, another concern is your safety. And most of the time I work alone. As an East Asian female, a lot of like half of females here, it's challenging. I remember once I was in Malta and I interviewed African migrants. He's from Ghana, and we go out together and we have a drink and he shared his experience with me. And then he started touching me, and then at the end he wanted to kiss me. And I was like, okay, like I have to stop this, and then I have to leave right away. So these kind of things, inevitably that it happens. And as a female, like sometimes you have to be really aware of what's your limitations, and some things that it's better not to cross, or you have better to find a partner with you. So like what I would like to suggest is that independent journalists should not work alone or work independently. Yeah, it's true. Like most of the time, I was alone, and I take my camera and my pen, and I go there and talk to people. But in some cases, it's better to have a person with you. One thing I tried, and I think you can, like when you have like 1 to 2 years experience, that would be really interesting to do that. I actually start my own like internship program. So I just, just really casual. I just post on Facebook like, I would go to Cambodia to do this work at a Thai-Cambodian border. We're going to interview undocumented migrants for a few days. If you want to join me, I would love to have one intern as a company, and then we can learn from each other, one to one. And so I get a girl, like she's really interested in working with me. So we went there together. It's really interesting because two brands always work better than one brand. So I found it fascinating working with her, and she took my camera just to walk around. I said, yeah, just take the camera, walk around. And actually media picked up one of her photos, and she was super happy. And I think that's also a really great way, like how you, that this industry, I think you should see other journalists or media students as your friends instead of your competitors. Because when you can work together, and something's like really amazing is that you collaborate with each other. I remember once I worked with one American journalist, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't think that's questions before. And it's amazing that we work together and we can improve our work together. So that's what I want to say. Especially if you work as an independent journalist, you don't have support system. But it doesn't mean that you don't have like that kind of support system. They are your network, but sometimes you see them as your competitors. But when you see them as your friends, you have support systems. So that's the second point I want to say. Work alone is really challenging, knowing your limitations, but also find partners and work together and be stronger together. And the third point I want to highlight is, let me see, okay. Sometimes I always ask like, who am I? And why am I here? Today, why am I here talking to you? This is my first time in India. I didn't really have that much connections with India. But yeah, today I'm here with you. And I'm from Taiwan. Maybe you haven't met any people from Taiwan, but today, I didn't think about this 3 years ago. But it's so important every time when you work on the ground to ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I here? Listen to people, they share their pains, their life, their sufferings with you. And I think that's very important to know your positionalities. Because I come from middle class family, and they support me. I can make my living, but I'm sorry, they have to take care of themselves. So for some people, you can't really do that because you have your boundary. So I'm really lucky, I'm privileged to be an independent journalist and do the things I'm passionate about. So what I want to say is it's okay if you don't have that kind of really dramatic story when you become an independent journalist. You have to be, victims, migrants, or your family have to be that, and you have that kind of position to do it. No, it's okay. You have your background, and that background remind you who you are and why you are there. And remind that some things that is your limitation. Even you publish a story, but remind that, okay, this is some things I probably can't cover, and that's my limitations. But I showed my respect to my stories, and that's what I want to say. It's okay that you don't have the similar background with your interviewees, but that the connections you build with them is genuine, and that's important. That's what I was going to say. Always respect your stories, respect your interviewees, because I have one things I want to like. This is my mistake. It's really great to articulate my mistake here, and I hope that you won't encounter this in the future or avoid it. I talked to one African migrant workers in Malta. She's really talented. She's amazing. But like, it's really hard for her to make a living. But she tried to open a business and a restaurant, blah blah blah. So I write her story, but I make a commitment. But I found at the end that I didn't do my commitment. I mean, well, I did do my commitment, but I feel I didn't do it well, and so I'm afraid of like talking to her, and so, but like once I got another chance to go back again to interview like people in Malta, like how's their life there, and then I contact her, and she told me, you didn't contact me before, you didn't tell me what's going on afterwards. Why now? I want, you know, how can I trust you again? So I went to the restaurant and I sit there and I apologize and say I'm really sorry, but like what's the things that make me feel uncomfortable to talk to you? And then I think that's the things that do make your commitment. But if you can't promise the things, don't say stuff. Yeah. Sometimes they will say, like, how can you improve my life? Why I have to talk to you? Blah blah blah. But like, this is really important that if you can't, and say, I'm sorry, I have my limitations. This is some things that I can't do. So far I've shared a few of my challenges, and definitely there are a lot of other challenges that you say here. But I want to do like small activities. Here are who has if you have some experience in journalism, can you raise your hands again? No, nobody. You have. Okay, have one, two. Okay, so most of you are students. That's fine. Well, it's okay. Like now you just find one person, just pair, and then just two person in your group. And then I want you to talk about like what's the challenge you think becoming an independent journalist, and then what's the progress now that has been dismissed that you think that should improve, but it hasn't been improved yet. So let's just share with your neighbors. Is that okay? And then we have 5 minutes. One person talk first, the other person listen first. Is that okay? Okay. The other, no, please don't say a single word. Listen to others. Okay. So 5 minutes. Let's start. Okay, start talking. So the question is that where do you think the challenge is, and then how do you want to start your journey? What's the problems you think it should be changed?
Hello. What are the challenges before? Can you repeat?
Hello, my name is my questions. Yeah, sure. Questions. What are the challenges do you think you might encounter if you become